Welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your Quizmaster, Sean, and I've got 100 questions for you, especially for baby boomers, to keep us young, to keep our brains working, and have fun while we're at it. Thanks for joining me. Let's start the quiz. Roughly, how many babies were born during the baby boom period in America? 50 million plus, 70 million plus, or 90 million plus? 70 million plus babies were born during the baby boom period. Baby boomers have also been known as what generation? Gen S, Gen X, or Gen W? They also have been known as Gen W. Atticus Finch is a character from which 1960s book? Catcher in the Rye, To Kill a Mockingbird, or A Clockwork Orange? Atticus Finch is a character in To Kill a Mockingbird. The Guinness Book of World Records first started in which decade? The 1950s, the 1960s, or the 1970s? The Guinness Book of World Records started in the 1950s. Satisfaction was a popular 1964 song by which group? The Who, the Rolling Stones, or the Doors? That's a popular song by the Rolling Stones. Who was the last American president of the baby boomer generation? Was it Dwight D. Eisenhower, Lyndon B. Johnson, or John F. Kennedy? That was John F. Kennedy. Which of the 1960s movies won the most Oscars? Dr. Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia, or The Sound of Music? And that was Lawrence of Arabia. The Berlin Wall was first erected in what year? 1961, 1962, or 1964? The Berlin Wall was first erected in 1961. The Little Rock Nine was a civil rights incident that happened in which U.S. state? Was it Ohio, St. Louis, or Arkansas? And that was in Arkansas. The first ever episode of the TV show Doctor Who was in what year? 1962, 1963, or 1965? And that TV show was in 1963. Complete the band name, The Blank Underground. The Velvet Underground. Which cigarette brand had the slogan, "Tastes good like a cigarette should"? Is that Winston, is it Chesterfield, or is it Pall Mall? Tastes good like a cigarette should. That would be Winston. Tastes good like an ashtray. Finish the song lyric. Then I saw her face, now I'm dreamin', a believer, or in love? Oh, Neil Diamond. Then I saw her face, now I'm a believer. Couldn't leave her if I tried. In what decade did Cameroon gain its independence from France? In the 40s, in the 50s, or the 1960s? Cameroon gained its independence from France in the 1960s. Apollo 2 moon mission take off from? Cape Canaveral, Vandenberg, or the Kennedy Space Center? The Apollo 2 mission took off from Cape Canaveral. Who wrote the 1953 dystopian novel Fahrenheit 451? Was that by Kurt Vonnegut, Ray Bradbury, or Raymond Chandler? That was written by Ray Bradbury. And in what year is the novel believed to be roughly set? In the year 2002, 2012, or 2022? And roughly it was set in 2022. Which of these companies is credited with building the first business computer? Was it NEC, Univac, or IBM? The first business computers, that would be Univac. Who was the host of the TV show The Twilight Zone? Rod Serling, Vic Perrin, or Rush Limbaugh? And that would be Rod Serling. Which of these movies saw Steve McQueen star as the Cooler King? The Cincinnati Kid, The Great Escape, or The Magnificent Seven? And that would be The Great Escape. And which actor co-starred alongside him as the Tunnel King? James Coburn, Richard Attenborough, or Charles Bronson? And the co-star was Charles Bronson. In what country was the 1964 Summer Olympics held? Were those held in Tokyo, Mexico, or Rome? The 64 Summer Olympics were held in Tokyo. The Profumo Affair was a UK political scandal involving which Secretary of State? Immigration, Finance, or War? Finish the movie title. To catch a blank. To catch a killer, to catch a thief, or to catch a dame. The movie is To Catch a Thief. In what year was the Declaration of the State of Israel? 1946, 1952, or 1948? The Declaration of the State of Israel, that occurred in 1948. In what German city did the Nazi trials take place in after the war? After the war, the Nazi trials took place in Nuremberg. Finish the song lyric. Let's twist again like we did last blank. Like we did last weekend. Like we did last night. Or like we did last summer. Let's twist again like we did last summer. 1949 saw the discovery of another moon of which planet? Jupiter, Neptune, or Uranus? In 1949, they discovered another moon of Neptune. What was the first major crisis of the Cold War? Chinese Communist Revolution, the Berlin blockade, or the Suez Canal crisis? Berlin blockade. Empire Strikes Back was released in what year? 1977? The Empire Strikes Back was released in 1980. Which of these athletes protested for equal rights during the 1968 Olympics? Was it Tommy Smith? Was it Reggie Watts? Or was it Jesse Jackson? It was Tommy Smith. The Truman Doctrine was introduced in what year? 1949 or 1947? The Truman Doctrine was introduced in 1947. The Falklands War broke out in 1982 between the UK and what other country? Was it South Africa? Was it Argentina? Or was it Egypt? And that was between the UK and Argentina. Who played the character of Doogie Howser, MD, in the popular American sitcom? Was it Neil Patrick Harris? Was it Benji Gregory? Or was it Jonathan Taylor Thomas? It was Neil Patrick Harris. The Munich Massacre happened during the Olympics in 1972. The Munich Massacre in 1972. Sylvester Stallone was married to which of these actresses/models? Goldie Hawn, Brigitte Nielsen, or Demi Moore? Sylvester Stallone was married to Brigitte Nielsen. What Beatles song was written in blood on the wall during the Charlie Manson killings? Helter Skelter, Twisted Shout, or Hello, Goodbye? It was Helter Skelter. What does the drug acronym LSD stand for? Lobotic synthetic diamenthol, lysergic acid diethylamide, or localized strain dermacell? It stands for lysergic acid diethylamide. Complete the band name. Huey Lewis and the blank. Is it Huey Lewis and the Youth, Huey Lewis and the Gang, or Huey Lewis and the News? That would be Huey Lewis and the News. Who did America beat in the 1980 Winter Olympic hockey final in what became known as the Miracle on Ice? Was it Russia? Was it Iceland? Or was it Finland? Do you believe in miracles? They beat Russia. Michael Stipe was the lead singer of which popular 80s band? The Cure, In Excess, or REM? Michael Stipe was the lead singer of REM. True or false? Brazil is the only country that has won 2 World Cups in a row. And if you're a soccer fan, you know that's. Will singer Tom Jones burst onto the music scene in the 1960s. What was his first #1 song? I'm Not Unusual, It's Not Unusual, What's New Pussycat, or You Can't Stop Love? His first one was It's Not Unusual. Which of these books did Stephen King write in the 1970s? Pet Sematary, The Shining, or Misery? That was The Shining. Complete the 1982 movie title. The Sword and the blank. The Sword and the Stone, The Sword and the Princess, or The Sword and the Sorcerer. Which one of those sounds right? The Sword and the Sorcerer. Bell-bottom jeans became the height of popularity in which decade? Was it the 1960s? Was it the 1970s? Or was it the 1980s? Bell-bottom jeans became the height of popularity in the 1960s. And may they never come back. What is the name of the 1984 movie that launched Kevin Bacon's career? Dirty Dancing, Footloose, or 16 Candles? The 84 movie that launched Bacon's career? Footloose. In what year did the last moon mission take place? 1972, 1974, or 1969? The last moon mission. That took place in 1972. Which soccer player is best known for the infamous Hand of God? Was that Pele? Was it Robert Baggio? Or was it Diego Maradona? That would be Diego Maradona. Which American artist came to epitomize the neo-expression movement of the 1980s? Andy Warhol, Jean-Michel Basquiat, or Jackson Pollock? That was Jean-Michel Basquiat. 1970 saw the invention of which type of aircraft? The Boeing 747, the turbojet, or the Airbus? That would be the invention of the Airbus. Which of these movies won the most Oscars in the 1980s? The Last Emperor, Chariots of Fire, or Amadeus? Comedian Louis Anderson was born in 1953 in which U.S. state? Was he born in Illinois? Was he born in Minnesota? Or is he from New York? Louis Anderson is from Minnesota. Which of these celebrities is not a baby boomer? Michael Jordan, Donald Trump, or Charlie Sheen? Charlie Sheen is not a boomer. He's Gen X. Complete the book title. The World According to? Is it Toad? Is it The World According to John? Or The World According to Garp? And the book title is The World According to Garp. In what year did the famous bra-burning feminist protest take place? Was it 1968? Was it 1970? Or was it 1973? It took place in 1968. In what Madonna video did the cross-burning controversy feature? Open Your Heart, Like a Prayer, or Hung Up? The video was Like a Prayer. The Mount St. Helens volcano erupted in 1980, killing 57 people. Where is the volcano located? In the United States, in Italy, or is Mount St. Helens located in Fiji? Mount St. Helens is in the United States. Which of these bands sang the song My Sharona? Was that Lynyrd Skynyrd? Was it Steely Dan? Or was it the Knack? That was the Knack. Canada gained its independence from the United Kingdom in what year? 1975, 1982, or 1978? Canada became independently governed from the UK in 1982. What is the name of the movie that depicts the life of 14th Dalai Lama? 7 Years in Tibet, The Last Emperor, or Kundun? That would be Kundun. The Gruffalo is a children's book inspired by which other 1963 book? Where the Wild Things Are, The Chronicles of Narnia, or The Lorax? That was inspired by Where the Wild Things Are. Which of these actresses played the role of Gertie in the 1982 movie E.T.? Alyssa Milano, Tina Yothers, or Drew Barrymore? Copacetic is a slang word from the 1970s that means what? Disagreeable, agreeable, or indifferent. If something is copacetic, that means it is agreeable. Which of these Michael Douglas movies featured the famous bunny boiling scene? Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, or Disclosure? That movie was Fatal Attraction. Which came first, DC or Marvel? DC, Marvel, or did they both come out at about the same time? DC came first. Which of these bands split up for good in 1970? Was it Pink Floyd, The Beatles, or Black Sabbath? Splitting up for good, never to rejoin in 1970 was The Beatles. Which of these countries' flags has changed the most since its independence? The country of France, the United States, or Afghanistan? The Afghanistan flag has changed the most since its independence. The first commercial cell phone became available to the public in what year? Was it 1983, 1981, or 1975? The first one available to the public was in 1983. Which singer collaborated with David Bowie in the 1985 song Dancing in the Street? Was it Freddie Mercury, Mick Jagger, or Iggy Pop? And that was Mick Jagger. My Bologna Has a First Name is a 1970s TV ad jingle for which company? Dolmio, Kugel, or Oscar Mayer? My bologna has a first name, it's Oscar. My bologna has a sec... Anyway, which one of these was the highest grossing movie of the 1980s? Return of the Jedi, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, or Raiders of the Lost Ark? The highest grossing movie of the 1980s was E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Hanna-Barbera cartoons such as Wacky Races and Scooby-Doo are from which decade? The 1970s, the 1960s, or the 1950s? Ruh-roh! 1960s. Gene Wilder starred in the highest-grossing movie of 1974. What movie was it? Young Frankenstein, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Blazing Saddles? The highest-grossing movie in 1974 was Blazing Saddles. Which of these soft drinks was the choice of the generation? Was it Pepsi, Torino, or Coca-Cola? The choice of the generation was Pepsi. Which of these actors played Batman in the 1960s TV adaptation? Was it Burt Ward? Was it Greg Binkley? Or was it Adam West? That was Adam West. Which of these sports cars first took the world by storm in the late 1950s? Was it the El Dorado? Was it the Thunderbird? Or was it the Imperial? It was the Thunderbird. Hula hoop, frisbee, and Barbie are all popular toys from which decade? The 1950s, the 1960s, or the 1970s? They're all popular toys from the 1950s. The Yom Kippur War was fought in 1973 between Israel and what other country? Was it fought between Israel and Turkey, Syria, or Iraq? The Yom Kippur War was fought between Israel and Syria. Complete the TV show title. All in the... Is it all in the facts? Is it all in the swing? Or is it all in the family? It's all in the family. Those were the days. The band The Doors got their name from which book? The Doors of Perception, The Doors into Summer, or The Doors into the Dark? The Doors got their name from the book The Doors of Perception. Rock star Elvis Presley died in what year? Did he die in 1975, 1977, or 1979? Elvis Presley died in 1977. Other than Vietnam and the United States, which of these countries also fought in the Vietnam War? Japan, Indonesia, or China? China fought in the Vietnam War. Which of these musicians was commonly known as the Bard? Was it John Lennon? Was it Bob Dylan? Or was it Elton John? Also known as the Bard, Bob Dylan. Who killed Malcolm X? Was it James Earl Ray? Was it Mark David Chapman? Or was it Thomas Hagen? Malcolm X was murdered by Thomas Hagen. Which of these actors is best known for the National Lampoon movies? Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, or Bill Murray? The National Lampoon movies. Well, that was a lot of Chevy Chase. Well, nobody's perfect is then famous last line from which 1959 movie? Some Like It Hot, All About Eve, or Dial M for Murder? That's the last line of the movie Some Like It Hot. Which of these animals went extinct during the 1970s? The Barbary lion, the Mexican bear, or the Tasmanian tiger? The Tasmanian tiger went extinct during the 1970s. 1967 saw which major sporting event for the very first time? Was it the World Series? Was it the Super Bowl? Or was it the NBA Finals? 1967 was the Super Bowl start? I Will Survive was a hit 1978 song by which singer? Was that by Gloria Gaynor, Diana Ross, or Donna Summers? I Will Survive is a song by Gloria Gaynor. What was the name of the multicolored patterned shirts popular in the 1970s? Was it acid wash, tie-dye, or was it pillbox? Oh, in the 1970s, it was all about tie-dye. In what decade did Wild West movies reach their height? 1960s, the 1950s, or the 1940s? Wild West movies reached their height in the 1960s. Live Aid took place over 2 days in Wembley Stadium and what other arena? Lumen Field, JFK Stadium, or was it the Rose Bowl? It was JFK Stadium. Writer Ayn Rand was born in which country? The United States, Hungary, or Russia? Ayn Rand was born in Russia. Who sang the hit 1971 song, Ain't No Sunshine? Is that a song by Al Green, Johnny Mathis, or Bill Withers? Ain't No Sunshine, that was sung by Bill Withers. Who was president of the United States during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Was it John F. Kennedy? Was it Lyndon B. Johnson? Or was it Richard Nixon? And that president was John F. Kennedy. Fondue was a popular type of what food in the 1960s? Was it ice cream? Was it soup? Or was it cheese? Fondue was a popular type of cheese in the 1960s. Inagata da Vida was a psychedelic rock song by which band? The Grateful Dead, Iron Butterfly, or Jefferson Airplane? That would be Iron Butterfly. True or false? Over half of baby boomers are still in the workplace. Is that true or is that false? That's true. Still working. Keep it up, guys. Reach out and touch someone was a slogan of which company in the 1970s? AT&T, Verizon, or Golden Eagle? Reach out and touch someone. That would be AT&T. And that was question 100. Thanks for playing Quiz Time. Drop your score in the comments, please. And don't forget, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and you'll get every Quiz Time when it comes out. We'll catch you in the next one.